Hello and welcome back to Dreamwalker Tarot. My name is Dawn and this is the March reading for Virgo Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Mercury. Please go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell for post notifications. This month I will be doing the Celtic Cross tarot spread, and the card that came out in the position for what's currently happening is the Five of Wands. And so it looks like this month you're kind of trying to avoid like a fight, an argument. There's like definitely some avoidance type energy here with the Five of Wands in reverse. When we see the Five of Wands, it's normally an indication of like a tension, of conflict, of arguments or disagreements. And so the Five of Wands in reverse is an indication that this is the type of energy that you're trying to actively avoid. This could also mean for some of you that this is like a inner type of turmoil or an inner type of feeling where you're going through some internal conflicts with yourself. And so, like, again, this is like avoidance energy, but it's also could mean that there's like some type of inner conflict. I am using the Lenormand Oracle deck to do clarifications, and the cards that came out as a clarification for the Five of Wands is the Coffin card, the Lily card, and the Mouse. Okay, so the Coffin card is an indication of it's like very similar to the Death card. It's really like a symbol of like letting go. There's something that is kind of playing out for you now where you're having a hard time letting go. I feel like you are kind of like debating back and forth about whether or not you should let something go or whether or not you should carry on the way that you feel about it. For some of you, this is kind of talking about something that is being delayed. You might have been waiting for something, and so there's like a discrepancy with someone about the arrival of its or the timing of something. And so there's like a certain sort of delay associated with this card in terms of the reason why you're having some type of conflict. There's also this idea here. This is like so random, right? So there's also an idea here about dishonesty with someone pertaining to like finances or legal matters, possibly like a dishonest attorney who you feel is like delaying like the outcome of something. And I feel like you might not necessarily want to argue with them. It could be an attorney, it could be someone older than you, an attorney or someone that is older than you. It could be someone that you don't necessarily get along with, that you're kind of like at odds with. And I feel like as a result of this dispute, because this could also be like a dispute that is ongoing, or, at this point, it's like you're just trying to avoid the situation altogether. But, you're trying to like not like feed into the deterioration of this dynamic between you and this particular person, right? So I feel like you're kind of trying to like avoid the situation altogether. The Lily card is also like an interesting symbol because it's kind of like fighting and struggling with both aspects of yourself in terms of like sexuality and or like it's the combination of being appearing to be pure and not being pure. So you might want to like, a little bit of a different side of yourself out, and you're kind of like struggling with that. Usually the Virgo is considered to be the virgin, and so everybody thinks that Virgos are puritanical when it comes to sex, and that is not the case. But for some of you, you do struggle with that, right? Really trying to kind of come into this space where, you're really trying to deal with your sexuality and how open you want to be with it, or how expressive you want to be on that realm. And so that is a factor, not for all of you, but for some of you. So ultimately, I feel like there is like a sense of having to deal with a relationship that is deteriorating, and it's potentially with someone who's older than you, and it's like you're really kind of trying to um, avoid that. Like, I don't feel like you want to end it, but I feel like there has been like a deterioration in the nature of the relationship itself, and that's causing you to feel like you need to end it. But that decision is something that you're struggling with, right? What is crossing the Five of Wands is the Five of Cups. And so it does seem like with the fives here, it looks like you were anticipating something, some sort of change, and it did not go the way that you thought that it was going to go. And I feel like as a result of that, you're kind of having like a negative view or a negative outlook. It could be on this particular person that you're kind of like having this deteriorating relationship with, and so you're just in a space where it has cost you a little bit of something, because there is like a personal setback for you, and it's delayed some things that you might have been planning, and so I feel like you're really taking space from the situation, because you're trying to move on. But I feel like that moving on is a struggle, because the nature of this relationship, or the nature of that hit, really has affected you. It's a personal setback. It's an emotional one for you. But I think you're in that space where you're trying to forgive yourself, and you're trying to really move on and move forward from that. In the past of the position, the card that comes out is the Page of Pentacles. And so it feels like the reason why you are kind of taking it so hard is I feel like this opportunity or this issue with this particular person that you're trying to like move away from originally started because it was presented as an opportunity for you to grow, for an opportunity for you to kind of establish a foundation, to really kind of like plant roots, to really take something, a seed of opportunity, and turn it and build it into something else. It was the beginning of an establishment of you, it feels like, and it feels like I said, there's a lot of conflict surrounding this opportunity that was presented to you. And like I said, there is like some dishonesty here, and it led to like the deterioration of a relationship with you and someone that would be considered older than you. You would be considered young. Yeah, you're younger than them, so they're older than you. It's definitely an elder, and it really left you really feeling kind of hurt, right? But I feel like even though that happened, and even though that is the case, I feel like there was a lesson here for you that you might not necessarily be seeing right now, because you are so consumed with the raw emotion of the situation, right? The clarification for this card, the Page of Pentacles here, is the Star card, the Ship, and the Bear, which is interesting. Okay, so like I said, the start of all of this that we're dealing right now is based on the fact that there was an opportunity presented to you that you looked at as an opportunity to grow and to kind of like establish roots, but it felt like a dream. It was something that seemed like almost too good to be true here with the Star card. It felt like a dream. It felt like a good thing for you to do. But at the center of this is the Bear card, which is a person that has authority over the situation, potentially authority over you. And with the Ship here, I mean, we usually don't read reversals for the Lenormand deck, but this is an indication that this situation was going to actually give you more sorrow than you realized. It wasn't going to allow you to grow, and to kind of like it wasn't going to allow you to grow in the ways that you thought it was going to allow you to grow. And so you thought you were going to be setting up roots, but it was actually going to kind of make you stuck, if that makes sense. And so there was a little bit of a control aspect to this with the bear card. This is like a someone who has a position of power, a position of control. And so whatever was that was given to you was really given to you as a play for control. But I don't think that you realized it at that time. And so that is the past. And so now you're realizing, what it really is. There's this conflict that you're just trying to avoid. You may not even be speaking to this person anymore. You're over it, and you're like really in the space of like really trying to move forward and to move on. So in the conscious position, the card that comes out is the Ten of Swords. And so this act of you moving forward and kind of shifting out of a space of like letting go of a painful situation and a painful ending. The Ten of Swords is about painful endings. And so you're consciously making the decision to move forward from this situation, and to kind of like focus on starting new, starting fresh, and to just kind of like let everything go, which is good on a subconscious level, right? The card that comes out for that is the Seven of Swords in reverse. The Seven of Swords in the upright is an indication that someone is doing something behind your back that you are not aware of. And so for it to be in the subconscious aspect of this reading, it means that it was something that was being deliberately done behind your back and being kept away from you deliberately, right? And so this person was operating in a sneaky sort of way. Like if they're offering you something that is being presented as something that could help you, as something that could benefit you, when it's really not, is them trying to institute some sort of power and control over you by giving this thing to you, then they're definitely acting sneaky, right? Like that's like the epitome of that. It's like a bait and switch type situation. And so at the subconscious level, this is the reason why you are kind of like doing what you're going through right now. That is for some of you. For others of you, I feel like the situation really hits you in a way where it felt like you weren't good enough for the opportunity, or it felt like you weren't worthy enough of it. The Seven of Swords in reverse can also indicate like feeling like an imposter kind of, right? Having like imposter syndrome where, something is too good to be true, and it's offered to you, but it really kind of left you feeling like, okay, is it that you offer this to me like, as charity, or did you really just feel like I couldn't do it, or it feels like it's an attack on you personally, like that's how you felt about it, right? I don't know if it's meant to be that way. Like I said, I feel like subconsciously, like those are the factors that are like feeding into why you're feeling so sad and why you're having such a hard time moving on. But I don't think that that's what it is. I feel like there's other things at play here. And so I wanted to pull some clarifiers for the Seven of Swords. First, I'm going to ask, like, what is it that, or who is it that is operating in this way, right? And here we have the cards that came out as a clarifier is the Queen of Cups, the King of Cups, and the Emperor in reverse. And so this could be three different people kind of like involved in this equation. We definitely have some water sign energy here. So Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio individual. It could be a male and a female. Or it, the sex is not necessarily there, but there is a masculine type of energy, and there's also a feminine type of energy attached to this. These two people could be a couple, they could be a pair, but there's also a Taurus individual attached to this, who is the Emperor showing up here. And again, the Emperor, when not operating in a really good way, can really be considered to be very controlling, using like, financial, I don't know why I feel like I'm like with Taurus, it's like earth energy, but it's really like a manipulative type of energy, using money to kind of like manipulate people. So if it was presented to you as an opportunity, it could be that person was using the money as a manipulation tool to kind of get you to do or be, or what they wanted you to do or be, right? So that's just what is coming off of these cards. We're gonna pull some Lenormand cards for that. Adding additional clarifiers to this with the Lenormand deck is the Fox card, the Tower, the Rider, and the Sun card. And so if we look at the way that the Seven of Swords is positioned, it's positioned looking back, right? So this action, this sneakiness is something that's already happened, right? It's in the past. It's whatever was offered to you or whatever was offered to you under the guise of something else is something that happened in the past. I feel like you kind of knew what was going on, and that's why you chose to walk away. But I feel like here with the Rider and the Sun card, that additional information about the nature of this act with the Fox card here is going to be revealed, right? There is something about like an institution, like a bank, a university, kind of like involved with this information being revealed. But I feel like on top of whatever it is that you already know, I feel like shortly, probably this month sometime, maybe next month, you're going to get information that's going to kind of actually put a little bit more exposure onto the situation. And I feel like the final outcome of that may be a little bit better for you. But I feel like this particular situation was more of a lesson for you in really paying attention to the things that you feel when it comes to the way that people act or the way that people do certain things, because I feel like you might have really been kind of like kicking yourself because I think you kind of knew what was going on, but you wanted to trust it because of the status of this person in your life, right? Them being older, you trusting them just overall, feeling like it was something that was given to you as a gift. And I feel like that is kind of like at the heart of the reason why you are so hurt about it. Wanting to avoid the argument and avoid the conflict is something that comes only because there is a level of care and concern there. There is also this element here that as a result of this situation, you might be kind of just very distrustful of people in general, right? I feel like if you trusted someone that you felt like you could trust, there is a level of distrust that kind of creeps up, moving forward. And so what you want to remember, like on a subconscious level, this creates distance here with the Tower card. It creates a distrust, and it creates a protection, like you're putting up protection to kind of like block out any potential for this to happen or to reoccur in the future. And so I feel like you need to understand that when people do things out of sneakiness, or they try to do things to try to like one up on you, ultimately there is a sense of someone doing something to kind of put themselves in a better situation, because for them it's about survival. When the fox does what it does, is it does it because of some sense of survival or some survival instinct that they're using for themselves. And so sometimes I feel like it's not necessarily like a personal thing. They're doing what they have to do to survive, right? And so as a result of that, you're kind of carrying the brunt of that, feeling like it's you, when it might not necessarily be you. It's just them. And so you can't hold on to or own other people's bad behavior. Like, when people do things and they do things fucked up, I'm sorry. It always comes back, and they end up having to pay for that because nothing goes unpunished. The universe will always balance itself out. And I feel like you're gonna get a little bit of information, some illumination on the situation soon. Okay. In the near future, the card that is coming out for you guys is the Four of Pentacles in reverse. And so near future is like, near future is you here really holding on to your coins, right? So this is like that level of protection that we're talking about, that, okay, well, I don't trust anybody because I've been through this situation where I had this start, I had this fresh start, and I'm going to hold on to it for dear life. I'm not letting it go. But in conjunction with that, when we're talking about you holding on to something for dear life, it also factors into your ability to move on, because now you're moving on with this stain on you, that's causing you to kind of, like I said, put up these walls of protection, and move forward, just operating in a different way than how you would normally operate. There's also the sense that you should be evaluating the place that money has in your life, right? I feel like that's kind of like a lot of what you're thinking about is, how important is money to me, right? And just in the overall scheme of your relationships with people, is it, obviously we need money to pay our bills, and we need our finances to make sure that we're okay. But is it more important than my family? Is it more important than my friends? I feel like you kind of be mindful of becoming a little bit greedy with finances, or turning into that person that injured you in terms of being in self-survival mode at all costs. You kind of want to like avoid that a little bit. For others of you, there is a sense that you feel like you can't keep a hold on your finances. It feels like money is just kind of like slipping through your fingers. Like no matter what you do, it feels like you just don't have enough, right? The clarification cards that I pulled for the Four of Pentacles in reverse is the Woman card, the Man card, Crossroads, and the Cross. So again, we have this couple, right? And so this again could go back to the Queen of Cups and the King of Cups that we saw, that's responsible for the trickery, or doing things behind your back, or being dishonest with you. And so they're showing up here also, in terms of you, being in that space of feeling like self-protective. Obviously, they are the result of that, or the cause of that. But I feel like you are still really suffering on an emotional level. I feel like this kind of like rocked your sense of stability in a way. The cross here is an indication of suffering at the hands of these two individuals, and really kind of coming to a crossroads about them and about the situation. And I really feel like there's a hesitation to that. Like I feel like the hesitation is still present in this card, along with the hesitation about making the decision about like letting everyone go and moving forward. I feel like you're still kind of holding on to a little bit of it, even though you're trying to move forward. I feel like for some of you, I feel like it might have been even harder because these two individuals are somehow affiliated to your faith, right? So I feel like they're religious people. And so I feel like that is kind of also attached to this sense of like disbelief. I feel like there's disbelief here that they did what they did, because I feel like you felt like they were people of the cloth, or they were religious, or they were Christian, or whatever. They subscribed to a religion that they were outwardly showing, and so I feel like that's a little part of like, I feel like there's like it's just like you can't just believe it. You cannot believe it. You can't believe they did that to you because of their status or who you thought they were. So I feel like a real sense of loss in terms of feeling or able to trust people moving forward due to this. But remember, the cards before were saying to be kind of mindful of that, because you put distance between yourself and other people. It creates a sense of loneliness that I really don't feel like it's fair for you to hold on to the burden of that when you're not the one, right? If you're not the one that did it. So you really are really struggling with releasing this and moving forward. Even though you want to move forward, I feel like there's still some residual effects of that. In the position of the current action that you're taking is the Knight of Swords, right? And so this is an indication that you are really trying to power forward. You're really trying to move forward with your plans. I feel like you're really in your head about it. This is you actively planning to move forward. this is about accessing like elements of your own healing, wisdom from the situation to take what you need to take and to move forward rapidly and swiftly, to just be done and over with it, despite, how you might feel right now. But like I said, I feel like there is like a little bit of a push and pull with these two energies, with the Four of Pentacles in reverse and also the Knight of Swords. I feel like, again, there is a little bit of a disbelief, but it's like you just don't want to deal with it, and I feel like you just want to move forward and just kind of like leave everything behind. The card that is coming out at the as the person who is involved, or something that's involved in the equation, or something that's affecting the equation that you aren't really aware of, it's an outside factor, is the Queen of Wands. And so the Queen of Wands actually, I feel like, is a party to this deception also. With the Queen of Wands, there is like a sense of like magic that's involved, because this card is usually an affiliation of like witchcraft a little bit, right? With the black cat here, it's usually a representation of that. If she's an outside factor and she's influencing it in some sort of way, there's a manipulation of energy attached to the way that this card is looking at the Seven of Swords. Like she's looking at that sneakiness. So outside of these other three people, like I said, it could be three people, there's another person in the mix, or it could be one person that embodies all of these type of energies: water sign energy, Taurus energy, and Queen of Wands energy, so fire sign energy as well, right? And so she is playing a role in this situation as well, that it's kind of like outside of what you actually know to be true, that's influencing the situation. Yeah, so clarification: the clouds, the crossroads, and the bear. So again, this type of controlling energy that came out before with the Page of Pentacles, like that's showing up again. And so she's directly responsible, whether you know it or not, or whether it has come out or not, also responsible for a lot of the manipulation in terms of giving you something and then taking it back. Like she's playing a role in that, and I feel like she's clouded and covered with the clouds card here. She's covered, like I said, due to the fact that there's distance with her in this equation, that you might not necessarily think that she is involved, but she is, right? Yeah, she's definitely involved in this as well. Like I said, the bear card came out earlier, but with the cloud card here, there's a little bit of a cover of night type of situation, which is kind of like what the moon reveals, is things that are done in the, under dark, or done away from prying eyes. But she's definitely playing a factor and a role in this overall situation. Your hopes and your dreams and your fears is being represented here by the Three of Pentacles in reverse. And so really that's an indication here that you are kind of afraid of going through a similar situation, right? Starting something new, or investing, it could be like really, it could be investing your finances into something that gives you a loss, right? There's that. There's also the element of trying to start to build on something that is going to create a foundation, and that could be a family. It could be starting a new business. It could be, doing like a mentorship type program, or working with someone else. I feel like you're kind of resistant when it comes to collaborative working or working with someone else, which is actually kind of understandable, because like I said, if you trusted this last situation and it didn't work out, I feel like that has definitely left you in a position to kind of feel like, okay, once bitten, twice shy. And so I kind of feel like that is really like your biggest fear right now, is really getting into that situation all over again and kind of going through the same thing. So I feel like a little bit of distrust for people around you that you might normally not distrust just because of the situation. Ultimately, the final outcome is the High Priestess card, right? And so this is an indication that although you're fearful and although you are really in a space where you regret, don't want to think about, don't want to deal, want to move on from, can't move on from because of your level of respect for the people involved, or not even knowing about or being unclear about who's involved and who's not involved. At the end of all this, I feel like what gift comes out of this situation is the gift of intuition and the gift of discernment and the gift of really understanding how your personal gifts work. Because I feel like, again, I feel like to some degree there was a sense of you knowing that this could be a potential situation and not following your intuition on it because of who was involved and the people that you trusted involved in it. And you really felt like, okay, no, I can trust them. They wouldn't do this to me. Like I said, they're church people, they're good people. They would never do this, and they did it. And so now I feel like moving forward, the gift that comes out of this situation is a gift of being able to lean on and rely on your intuition, which low key is an amazing thing, right? Because moving forward, you can use that to be able to kind of like judge and determine what paths you should take, what paths you should avoid. And I do feel like it helps you to lean more into your intuition, which at the end of the day, it's a hard lesson, it's a rough lesson, but it's a much needed lesson, right? And so that actually, the outcome of that, while it might not be pleasant for you, at the end of it all, there really is a good point in this, in that you have, or you, as a result of the situation, developed your intuition, and learning how to trust that and learning how to lean into that when it comes to making decisions. The advice cards is coming from the Angels and Ancestors Oracle deck, and there were 3 cards that came out. The first one is the High Priestess, which really, really, okay. Align with the light and focus on all things positive. The High Priestess is the physical embodiment of the divine feminine, the goddess in human form. She has had many names through time and space, but her essence has remained similar: fierce, powerful, and disciplined. In many traditions, particularly pre-Christian, the high priestess was in charge of spiritual and religious orders and was the voice of authority and guidance from the gods. The high priestess in this deck is the consort and partner of the high priest. If you look at them together, you will see that they mirror each other's energy. She's joined by a black cat representing the Egyptian goddess Bast, who protects her from lower energies, and she stands strong in her glory and peace. You are a mystic with the capacity to connect with energies that go beyond the human senses. Within you is a force of magic that is directed by your will. There's an opportunity for you to rise up at this time, but it requires dedication and discipline. You are being guided to look at what you are working on or at the situation before you and determine where your priorities lie. If you are unable to figure that out, you must use your intuition and discernment to focus on what will bring you closer to your goal and the happiness of everyone involved. When this card arrives, it's also important for you to check in with your intuition, as it will give you the guidance that will be important for your growth. I mean, dude, like seriously. That was literally everything that was just said in the reading, right? The next card that came out is the Moon card. Take note of intuitive messages. Use your intuition. Practice discernment. See through illusions and blockages. I mean, this is so super specific, right? The moon is strongly associated with the divine feminine and the energy of receiving. If the sun is God, the moon is goddess. And so she offers a powerful energy of polarity and balance. She has a cyclical energy and is therefore strongly connected to emotions, which often come and go in waves, and to somewhat interesting behavior. So when the moon appears in a reading, you are being told that not everything is as it seems. The moon has a dark side, just dark, not negative, and can show you what you've been kept in the dark about. Lunar energies are surrounding your life, allowing you to understand what is standing in your way. Not everything is as it seems, and you're being guided to use your discernment. When the moon appears, intuitive or psychic urges are increased, so take note of any feelings arising at this time. They are messages from your soul and your angels. The moon shines her light on all that has been kept in the dark, so ask yourself if you are avoiding anything or refusing to deal with something of importance. If so, it could be holding you in the shadows when your destiny is to be in the light. If this card appears when you feel someone isn't being completely real with you, know that their intentions will be revealed to you. The moon has no secrets and she reveals all. And so I feel like with the Seven of Swords, there's a giant moon in there, which is also about things being revealed. And so again, I feel like a lot of this stuff has already come out. But I do feel like there's more of the shoe to drop, right? And so I do feel like between now and the next full moon, you might be getting more information regarding the situation. So please, 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 if that happens, come back and let the kid know what you found out. Yes. The last card that came out is the Broken Arrow. The Broken Arrow is to embrace the energy of peace, let go of the need to defend yourself, and prepare to offer peace. You are safe. Just as the arrow card symbolizes defense and protection, the broken arrow symbolizes peace. In Native American traditions, a broken arrow would mean that tribes were no longer fighting one another, but were making alliances. When you see a broken arrow in a meditation, vision, dream, or reading, it is a message that you no longer need to fight because peace has arrived. This is a powerful symbol of harmony, serenity, and community. If you have been exposed to a situation in which you have felt the need to protect yourself or defend what you feel is right, know that this is now coming to an end. With the arrival of the Broken Arrow card, you are being guided to know that the energies of light are entering to wash away all the darkness. You can drop your shields and protection. You are now in a situation that will honor you and honor your needs. Arguments are ending and disagreements are being resolved. Prepare to talk things through and offer the peace that you would like to enjoy. In order to move forward in a more fearless way, it's important for you to let go of the idea that you can be hurt by this situation or the people involved, because this will only work against you. Know that your angelic guides and ancestors are standing around you, protecting you, and taking you lovingly forward. And again, like I said, your intuition is on 1,000 right now. And so honestly, trust that, okay? Trust it. And just like that, we've come to the end of the video. Please like the video, share your thoughts down below in the comment section, but also share the video with a friend who you feel could benefit from the messages that are presented here today. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for post notifications. Thank you so very much for being here and for listening. I really, really appreciate you, and I will see you soon. Take care.